Welcome to our comprehensive hurricane update. As we turn our attention to the hurricane that impacted Florida yesterday, it's crucial to grasp the full extent of its power and the implications of its path. Recent reconnaissance flights have provided us with stunning visuals and data showing that the hurricane was a formidable Category 4 storm prior to landfall. With wind gusts reaching a staggering 115 miles per hour, the storm showcased its ferocity, ultimately making landfall as a strong Category 3 hurricane. The rapid transition from one category to another highlights the volatile nature of hurricanes, demonstrating how quickly conditions can change during these extreme weather events. Once the storm hit land, it unleashed a torrent of rain and an impressive display of lightning over the Tampa Bay area, wreaking havoc across the region. The sheer volume of rain that fell in such a short period was unprecedented. Many areas reported accumulations that resulted in severe flooding. The consequences of this natural disaster were immediate and profound, with over 3 million power outages reported across Florida. Residents began the arduous process of recovery almost immediately, facing the daunting task of assessing the damage and restoring power. The footage captured early this morning from the Tampa region serves as a powerful reminder of the storm's impact and the resilience required to recover from such a disaster. Currently, the storm is moving away from the Florida coast, having made landfall just south of Cape Canaveral. As of the latest updates, it has weakened significantly and is now classified as a Category 1 hurricane. At this time, the storm's coordinates are 29, 2° N and 78, 5° W. As it transitions into an extratropical cyclone, we are observing changes in its structure and behavior. The storm is now traveling northeast at an estimated speed of about 18 miles per hour. Although the final flash flood warnings for Florida's east coast are nearing expiration, the remnants of the storm have left a lasting impact, particularly in coastal areas where storm surges have caused significant damage. Regions such as Sarasota, Fort Myers, and Naples experienced powerful storm surges that added to the devastation, illustrating the need for preparedness in hurricane-prone areas. Despite its weakening intensity, the storm's wind fields remain expansive and continue to pose a threat. These wind fields stretch up to 180 nautical miles in the northern quadrants, indicating that even as the storm weakens, it still affects a large area. Currently, a hurricane warning remains in effect for a substantial portion of Florida's east coast, from Sebastian Inlet to the Flagler-Lucia County line. Additionally, a storm surge warning is still active for regions like Sebastian Inlet and Alomar Hound in Georgia. Presently, the storm is located 211 kilometers from Cape Canaveral, 217 kilometers from Walker's Key in the Bahamas, 263 kilometers from Great Abaco, 269 kilometers from Grand Bahama, and 1,362 kilometers from Bermuda. As the storm continues its trajectory, we will be closely monitoring its approach to these islands, especially Bermuda, which may experience the storm's residual effects. As we look closer at Central Florida, the flooding caused by the storm's heavy rains continues to challenge residents and first responders alike. The combination of storm surges and relentless rainfall has created perilous conditions, particularly in areas such as Tampa Bay and Fort Myers. The rainfall has been staggering. Some regions have recorded nearly 16 inches of rain in just one night. Such extreme weather events underscore the importance of having effective drainage systems and preparedness plans in place. I recently came across photographs from Clearwater that starkly illustrate the storm's impact. While the winds have subsided, the flooding remains severe. In many areas, water levels reach 2 to 4 feet deep, creating hazardous conditions for both residents and emergency services. Looking ahead, The wind field forecasts for the coming days indicate that the storm will continue its easterly movement. However, as it transitions to a post-tropical cyclone, it will drift further into the Atlantic Ocean. Projections suggest a slight turn southward, potentially skirting Bermuda before ultimately moving northeastward and dissipating by the middle of next week. This progression is not uncommon for storms that transition to post-tropical systems, as they often follow paths that take them away from land and into open waters. The visuals here will help illustrate the storm's anticipated path and expected behavior as it continues to weaken. Now, let's delve into the current intensity estimates for the storm. Interestingly, the satellite estimated central (SEC) winds still categorize the storm as being on the verge of Category 2 status. However, this assessment is becoming less credible as the storm continues to weaken. According to the National Hurricane Center, the storm's winds are currently reported at 85 miles per hour. However, we believe that the actual wind speeds are somewhat lower. Our analysis, based on recent radar data, indicates that the hurricane's wind speed has been downgraded to approximately 75 miles per hour, officially categorizing it as a Category 1 hurricane that is on the verge of transitioning to a post-tropical storm. The final cone from the National Hurricane Center provides a visual representation of the storm's wind field, still substantial despite the decrease in intensity. A wide area remains under warnings, emphasizing the ongoing risk to coastal communities. The storm is making an eastward track, currently positioned just south of Bermuda. Once it moves past the Bahamas, it is not anticipated to pose a serious threat to any other land areas, allowing those impacted to begin focusing on recovery. As we examine the forecast for the upcoming days, the GFS model shows another system, Hurricane Leslie, moving northeastward. This system is expected to slow down as it progresses. Meanwhile, Milton, another system in the area, is beginning to take on the characteristic S shape typical of post-tropical cyclones. Milton is merging with a larger frontal system that is advancing northward and will eventually push out toward the open Atlantic. It's worth noting that Leslie is also on a path toward the Azores, where it will descend back southward before reaching Madeira, Portugal. In terms of rainfall and reflectivity forecasts, we expect heavy rain to persist in the southeastern states for the next few hours before the system continues its eastward movement. The rainy season is winding down, but it's still early for Milton, which has the potential to affect weather patterns in the region. Rainfall amounts are predicted to decrease and become more sporadic, yet the remnants of the storm could still impact areas like Bermuda. Although it may not result in a major event for the island, residents could see 2 to 3 inches of rain as the storm's effects linger. As we continue to monitor the situation, it is essential to stay informed and prepared, especially in regions susceptible to severe weather. Understanding the dynamics of hurricanes and their aftermath can help communities better respond to these challenges, highlighting the importance of preparedness and resilience in the face of nature's fury. The current weather situation in Florida is a matter of great concern as we anticipate additional rainfall that could amount to 2 to 3 inches in certain areas. This projection assumes that the storm maintains its course without any unexpected alterations. As it stands, the storm is still exhibiting considerable strength, particularly in regions such as Daytona Beach and its surroundings. Residents in these areas should prepare for potential rainfall totals that could escalate to anywhere between 8 to 9 inches. Such heavy precipitation can lead to a myriad of challenges, including flash flooding, road closures, and disruptions to essential services. Flooding can pose serious risks to both personal safety and property, making it crucial for people in affected areas to stay informed about weather updates and follow any advisories issued by local authorities. As we monitor the storm's trajectory, it is important to note that once it passes through Florida, it is expected to begin weakening. The storm will then shift its focus toward Bermuda, where we anticipate it may bring approximately 3 inches of rain, although some forecasts suggest it could be even less. After impacting Bermuda, the storm will continue its journey into the open Atlantic Ocean, where current conditions appear relatively calm, with no significant weather systems on the horizon. This transition into the open ocean will likely further reduce the storm's strength and intensity. Looking at the sea surface temperatures in the region, we see they are relatively stable, currently hovering around 28 degrees Celsius. These temperatures play a critical role in the storm's potential development and intensity. Warmer sea surface temperatures can significantly fuel a storm, leading to increased wind speeds and precipitation. However, it's essential to recognize that a significant change has already taken place within the storm's dynamics. By the time it reaches Bermuda, projections indicate that the water temperature will drop to around 25 to 26 degrees Celsius. This decline suggests that the storm will not have the opportunity to sustain itself over the warmer waters for an extended period. Although there is a warm water pool situated to the east of Bermuda, with temperatures reaching between 27 and 28 degrees Celsius, the structure and current trajectory of the storm do not indicate a likelihood of it reforming or gaining strength in that area. Moreover, while these warm sea surface temperatures can potentially benefit other weather systems nearby, the prevailing conditions indicate that the storm is losing its capacity for further development. As we examine the latest satellite imagery, it becomes evident that the storm is primarily moving away from the coast. Although considerable cloud cover persists over Florida, it mainly consists of low-level clouds that are relatively benign and not particularly threatening. Most of the storm's activity has now shifted offshore, and we are starting to see signs of decreasing storm intensity, as evidenced by the satellite images capturing the early signs of daylight breaking through. Taking a broader view of the situation, we can identify another area situated to the east that was previously on the verge of forming into a storm. Meteorologists have assessed this system and given it a 0% chance of development, which implies that it is unlikely to strengthen or pose any threat. This system has just passed by Bermuda without causing significant impacts, indicating that it may not have enough energy or organization to evolve into a hurricane or tropical storm. As we conclude this update, it is vital to remain vigilant and aware of any changes in weather patterns. The potential for unexpected developments in the weather remains, and it is crucial to stay informed through reliable sources. We encourage all residents in impacted areas to prioritize their safety and follow guidance from local authorities. Thank you for joining us today for this hurricane update. Stay safe and prepared.